Okay, so there are very few musicians, performers throughout history that I really wanted to just sit down and party with, just to get to know, have a slam bang, great time with. Those with personalities that are just much bigger than their music. They just look captivating, like the Beatles, Little Richard, James Brown, early David Bowie, and Mick Jagger, uh, Prince, Frank Sinatra. Gosh, just go right on down the line. There's just so many of them that just had huge personalities. Well, this woman, Rosetta Tharpe, is one of those people, one of those huge personalities. She was an amazing electric guitar player. She was, everybody agrees, the first great electric guitar player. And she is known by the great musicians, especially guitar players of the late 1950s and 60s, as the godmother of rock and roll. And if you haven't seen her before, you'll know why after you watch this. She is amazing, amazing voice. Her playing, it's her and Muddy Waters are the two who play the guitar when I first saw them, and I'm like, wow, great guitar playing did not start in the 1960s. It went way back. She was a gospel singer, performer, famous in the 1930s and 40s. And then she went into nightclubs also, did some singing, and as she put it, brought light into the darkness of the nightclubs. But here's just a few of the great musicians who said that she was the godmother of rock and roll and copied some of her style. Little Richard, Johnny Cash, Eric Clapton, Keith Richards, Elvis Presley, Chuck Berry, Jeff Beck, Jerry Lee Lewis. The list goes on and on. I would imagine there's a bunch of others like Jimi Hendrix, because I can see her style, especially in his. She was a force of nature. And you'll see that here in a second if you haven't seen her before. This just goes to show that for me, music transcends. I mean, it transcends all boundaries. Even though America at the time was still had a lot of racism in it, this woman broke out, and she was huge in America, huge in Europe. This performance right here is was done in Manchester in 1974. Didn't It Rain? She did it live, and it's been a while since I've seen this, so it's almost going to be fresh for me. And that picture you're looking at right there is her in the early years. And my gosh, she wasn't just talented, folks. She was gorgeous. She put on a little bit of weight and added some more to her voice as she got older, had some more richness to it. Yeah, this was Manchester. They loved her in England. Oh my goodness. They paid for her and Muddy Waters to come over in 1964, I think it was. This is in 1964. So let's just get going on this and watch her and somebody walk up. I want to watch them walk up. I think they talk when they walk up, and then watch the performance. So here we go with Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Oh, yeah. Just to know we can start in the rain and sing. And the people are so sweet to stay here. And I come in on yeah. Let me tell you what I come in on.
Just a
yeah.
natural performer. Listen to this guitar, folks.
Get a key.
She's just warming up.
Didn't it rain, children?
Oh my God.
Rain, oh yes. Didn't it? Yes, didn't.
You tell me any kind of modern performer who's got that voice. I mean, that beats Aretha Franklin. I mean, this woman had it all. Charisma. She could play guitar arguably as good as David Gilmour of Pink Floyd and some of the other greats, Hendrix, Beck, others, Clapton. I mean, she could play the guitar like those guys. She's got the charisma of those guys. She's got a voice that exceeds all of them in my perspective. I'm going to back it up. Just the power and clarity. Wow. Okay, let's just listen to that again. Got to hear that voice.
Yes, didn't it? You know it did, didn't it?
Back it up a little bit more so we can hear that voice.
Children, rain, oh yes, didn't it? Yes, didn't it? You know it did, didn't it? Oh yes, how it rained. I said it rained, children. Rain, oh yes, didn't it? Yes, didn't it? You know it did, didn't it? Oh my Lord, how it rained.
Brand new for these Brits. I mean, the Brits, to their credit, they loved soul, rhythm, and blues. I mean, Zeppelin and all the others, they had that in them. The Brits loved American soul and rhythm and blues. And this woman is the epitome of that. They are loving it.
You know it rained 40 days, rained 40 nights to make my garment fit me right. When I get to heaven, gonna put on my robe, walk around in glory, tell the glad news, look up David
Look at her stroll around that stage. Just love it.
in the heat of the day, tune up a harp and begin to play. I know it rain, you know it rain, oh how it rain, rain too long, all night long, rain, 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 didn't it rain, children? Rain, oh yes, didn't it, yes, didn't it, you know it did, or didn't it? Oh my Lord, how it rained.
Wow. Tell me you don't hear rock and roll in that. Of course, this was 1964, but she was doing this 20, 25 years before. Tell me you don't hear rock and roll in that. I mean, I hear Bill Haley, his guitar in that. I mean, oh my God. Wow. She was way ahead of her time. She was a creator.
Some at the door, some crying, Brother Noah, can't you take on more? But no cried out, my friends. The angel's got the key and you can't get in. I know it rain, you know it rain. Rain too long, all night long. Rain all day, rain all night. Rain, 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 rain. Rain, 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 rain. Rain, children. Rain, oh yes. Didn't it, yes. Didn't it, you know it did, or didn't it? Oh my Lord, how it rained!
Blowing kisses to the crowd. They love her. Wow. It's so good to see. Okay, so I'll just go back to a picture of her here. I mean, this woman, I love those old sort of black gospels also, where they would keep the refrain going. Didn't it rain? Oh, yes, it rained. It rained all night long. Yes, it rained. I mean, in any other performer, that would almost not come across well. But I mean, the way they would do that, just keep hammering it home in different ways, different tones. I love that. It's amazing. This one doesn't show off her guitar playing quite as well as some other videos. So I'll do some other videos of her where she gets down on the guitar. I mean, obviously you can tell from this, she doesn't even look at the guitar and is sitting there plucking it with obvious comfort and genius. And her voice, just everything about her. And I'm also impressed that a woman of her size, by this time in her life, she was about 50 or so, I think, close to it. I mean, she's moving up there like a spry, almost a spry little dancer, you know. And I love how she back and forth, you know, and playing to the audience. I mean, she's just natural performer, having a great time. Wow. Just extraordinary. I love seeing somebody enjoy her music the way she enjoyed her music and getting it across to her audience. And obviously, they are just utterly riveted by her, as I was just then. She's amazing. And yeah, all genres of music, as we all know, they come from someplace, you know? So there's a fountainhead or several fountainheads that start jazz, start soul. You got the early ones who come up with those ideas, who start playing that way, whether it's in the street or wherever. And then jazz evolves, then rhythm and blues evolves, then rock and roll evolves, pop evolves, punk. I mean, it just goes right on down the line. And most of it starts sort of in folk or some sort of folk area. But she is one of the fountainheads of rock and roll. And you can see it right there in the way she plays and her charismatic performance. Just love this Sister Rosetta Tharpe, as they called her in the churches and in gospel music. And wow, hats off. Just love this woman. Wish I could have met her. Let me know what y'all think. And I'll catch you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye now.